Hey creatives, it's Lewis here again, and this is our monthly tutorial for the month of March. We're going to focus on object removal out of an image using the clone stamp and the spot healing tool and the healing brush tool. So let's get started. The image we're using today is an image that I took of the lion graphic that has been chalk drawn on the wall in the lobby of the church. And what we're going to do today is we're going to remove the fire alarm from the lion's eye, and we're going to remove the electrical outlets and the Ethernet cords out of the bottom using the stamp tool and the spot healing brush. So let's get started. This image will be provided to everyone, so you can follow along throughout the tutorial, or you can do it on your own time. All right, here we go. So if you watched the last tutorial, before we get started on editing, what we're going to do first is create a duplicate background layer. And to do that, you're going to hit Command J on a Mac or Control J on PC. So we're going to do that now. And this is the layer that we're going to work on because we're going to do non-destructive editing. So let's get started. First, I'm going to start with the electrical outlets down here and the Ethernet outlet. It's going to be fairly easy. There's not much shading that's going to need to be done. So what we can do is we can make our brush size a little bit bigger than the actual object that we're going to remove. And you can change your brush size using the bracket keys, the left and the right bracket key. The right bracket key increases your size, the left bracket key reduces your size. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clone some of this black, and then I'm just gonna draw right over that outlet, and I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm gonna clone some of this black that's close to it, and I'm just going to drag it right over that. And we are completely done with these guys. And now we're gonna move closer to the eye. So I'm gonna zoom in so we can get a good view of the eye. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reduce the size of my brush. And I'm going to get real intricate with this one because we kind of want it, we really want, the end goal is to make it look like the fire alarm did not exist in that eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone as close to the fire alarm as I possibly can, and I'm going to brush over the fire alarm. And as we're brushing, we just want to make sure that we maintain the integrity of it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the other side as well, so it's evenly shaded. That way we got samples from both sides of the eye, and we're working to meet them in the middle. Get some from the bottom and move it up a little bit as well. And the only issue that I have with the clone stamp is that it is exactly what it is the clone stamp, and it completely clones exactly what you sample. And if you look at the eye, you can tell that all we're doing is just taking the same area and moving it over and over and over again. And sometimes, depending on what you're working on, it looks really, really bad. So that's one thing that you want to be conscious of when you're using the clone stamp tool, is to make sure that you're sampling as close to the possible areas as you can. You may have to readjust every once in a while, but you just want to make sure that you're taking good samples from the areas around what you're working on. It's looking good so far. And what we're going to do once we get this all filled in is we're going to get a little sample from the right eye, and we're going to sort of fill in the coloring a little bit. We'll scoot back, and you can tell that we did work in this eye. So what we're going to do is we're going to sample some material from that eye, and we're just going to kind of fill it in a little bit. It's a little too much right there. So we just want to make sure that we get that eye to make it look as realistic as we possibly can. Oh man, that looks really good. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in, and all of the work that we did was done with the cloning tool. But what I'm going to use now is the spot healing brush, and I'm just going to touch up certain areas of the chalk drawing where I see some minor defects, and we'll call this good. We'll zoom out to verify that our image looks good, looks believable. And if you want to check it, we're going to click this eyebrow right here, and you can verify the work that we did. So that's the end of this tutorial. If you have any questions, or if you would like a more difficult object to remove, just let me know. Again, this image will be in the Dropbox folder for those who have access to it, so you can practice it yourself. You don't necessarily have to just do this eye. You can do other things in it as well to mess around with it and just play with it and get yourself familiar with it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or contact me through CCB or the GroupMe message. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all.